Sonic fans are a discerning bunch, always on the hunt for the next big thing, the next game that takes inspiration from Sonic and pushes the limits of speed and style. So while I'll be touching on some of the obvious fan favorites here, I'll also be diving into some of the underrated stuff that I think probably passed you by. And hey, I'm not sticking strictly to Sonic-style games here. If a game lands on this video, I just think it's doing something that might uniquely appeal to Sonic fans. There's a whole world of fast-paced goodness out there, and I'm always on the hunt to shine a light on some cool games that I think you might have otherwise missed. Alright, and that's enough preamble, let's get the show on the road. Panic Porcupine takes the high-speed gameplay of 2D Sonic and mixes it with the precision platforming of Super Meat Boy to make a really difficult but rewarding Sonic homage. You dodge saw blades, leap over spikes, and speed your way through 50 different levels. Every jump and spin dash needs to be spot on, so it's a real test of your skills. There's no rings here that are going to keep you alive, so it's all about execution, but don't worry, it's got infinite lives, so the punishment for death isn't too bad. And if you're the competitive type, there's tons of different tech and shortcuts that'll have you shaving seconds off of your PB. So whether you're a Sonic Pro or just looking for a fast-paced challenge, this is definitely worth checking out. Rifter isn't your average platformer. It's pretty much a lightning-fast, retro-wave take on Sonic with a grappling hook in a neon-soaked dreamscape. You sprint, grapple, and dash your way to the tune of an 80s-style synthwave soundtrack, and like a lot of games in this video, it's going to be a test of your reflexes. If there's one thing that I love out of games of this type, it's the momentum, and this game really nails that. So I think it's time that you dive into the neon and show the world what you're made of. Polyroll is another high-speed platformer from the devs of Panic Porcupine, but this is the one that they're most well known for. It isn't as tough as nails as Panic Porcupine, and it delivers a much more straightforward 2D Sonic style of a game. Maybe even going as far as evoking the 8-bit Sonic entries like on the Game Gear or the Master System. So if you just want a simple, straightforward Sonic homage, check this one out. There's even a follow-up to this being currently developed called Polyroll Pocket, which is an homage to the Sonic game on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, so keep an eye out on that one too. I've talked about this one quite a few times on this channel, but Curse Crackers, for whom the Belle Toils, is a really charming platformer from Colorgrave that I really think needs more eyes on it. I think that it works among the Sonic-style games here because of its focus on homing attacks. Its pixel art and whole vibe really evoke the Game Boy Color and Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I think that this aesthetic looks really fantastic on handheld screens like the Steam Deck, for example. It's got colorful levels, satisfying puzzles, and memorable NPCs. The music's also catchy and the gameplay is super satisfying, so if you're looking for an underrated gem that has fluid movement, give Curse Crackers a shot. Action Henk is a speed game that I've loved for a long time. It's another one of these that's all about execution and preserving your momentum to break time trial style records. You'll be sliding and jumping off ramps to keep your speed going through these different Toy Story scale levels, trying to fight your way to the top of the leaderboards. The controls here are just ultra tight, and it just nails the feel of what you want out of a game like this. So if you're looking for a time trial style platformer, this is definitely one of my favorites. Then we have Turbo Shell, a high-speed platforming dodge 'em up where you thrust yourself through levels at high speed like you're pushing and pulling on magnetic forces. Zipping around levels, dodging obstacles feels a lot like Flappy Bird, oddly enough here, because you're going to be giving yourself these little nudges that just fly you through the levels at high speed. It's also got a neon vibe that will make you want to keep up with the tempo of its 80s style soundtrack. Just like a lot of other precision platformers, this one's tough as nails and really skill-based, but once you click with it, this game really gets you hooked. Also, this one's often on deep sale, and there is a demo available, so if this gameplay looks good to you, check out Turbo Shell. It's definitely worth getting your hands on. SpeedRunners is one of my favorite games to play in local multiplayer situations. It's another fast-paced running game, but since it's focused around outrunning your opponents on the same screen, it's a super effective way to really feel the pressure to perfect your route. There is a single-player mode here where you race against bots, but to be honest, that really misses the appeal of having all of the competition, feeling the tension, and running against each other in the same room. This was a super early game that came out in the very beginning of the new era of indie games, I guess, but just like Towerfall or Nidhogg, it's one of the games that me and my group of friends come back to pretty regularly still. So if you love the feeling of falling behind just to use an item to completely screw over one of your friends, this is an absolute 10 out of 10 recommendation from me. MineRalph is another speed game, this time being all about rolling, and I recommend using your mouse to play this one because it adds a really good level of nuance to the control of Ralph as you dash around the levels. You need to exert yourself around because the level traversal is completely physics-based, and as you zip around there are a bunch of different types of surfaces that will change the way you move. So learning the best way to use these to your advantage is key. There's even multiplayer that was added after its release. So if rolling around at the speed of sound is what you love about Sonic, this game could be worth your time. Alright, first game in this video that takes things to the realm of 3D platforming. Super Sami Roll. This is definitely one that falls on the side of Mario, but not to say there's nothing here for Sonic fans, especially if you liked Sonic Lost World. You'll be rolling around and using your abilities to make it through these expertly crafted 3D platforming levels that evoke a ton of different classic 3D platformers. So if you want an homage to Sonic and Mario and even Super Monkey Ball, this is a really impressive indie. And also keep an eye out for the sequel that's currently in development. Rush On is to 3D Sonic what Super Rush was to skydiving. It's a procedurally generated high-speed dasher, so it's a never-ending set of environments to dash through. But look, I'm not saying this is the most polished, fully featured game in the world. I just think that it's exactly what it looks like, a never-ending mix of elements that you can truck through at high speed. This one's also pretty cheap, and it's a neat little oddity that I think as long as you have your tempered expectations before you go into it, this really could be great for a Sonic fan. The Freedom Planet series is probably the most well-known Sonic-inspired series out there, and it's really super impressive at what a team of fans was able to create with this. Both games in the series have a colorful pixelated world with tons of lore and characters, so if that's what appeals to you most about Sonic games, these games have you covered. Over the course of both games, there are different characters with unique abilities, and it really has a serious dose of Sonic style and influence. The first game in the series pretty much plays it safe, sticking pretty close to the Sonic formula, while the second game takes some more liberties and goes its own way, and I think that it does it so well that it easily surpasses the original. So if you want to see what a bunch of Sonic fans can come up with when they branch out and make their own world and original stuff and characters, definitely check out Freedom Planet. It's totally a no-brainer. Sockventure is another precision platformer. This time it's very dash-centric, which is why it's here in this video at all. Look, I know it's much more similar to Celeste than Sonic, but give me a little bit more leash here. In this game, you're tasked with going through spiked-filled levels to collect different socks that you can wear. There are over 200 different levels, so there's a ton of opportunities to fight your way to the top of the speedrun leaderboards. So if you want a new trial and error obsession, Sockventure is worth checking out. I'd say that it's arguable that the Spark the Electric Jester series and the Freedom Planet series, which Sonic-inspired fan series, is more notable, but it's easy to say that they are the top two, and that they both have taken heavily from Sonic's blueprints. Like the Freedom Planet games, the first Spark game really took the challenge of evoking the feel of 2D Sonic, and it did a great job at doing it. But I think that when Spark started to take on the challenge of 3D Sonic, it's when it really came into its own and started to make a name for itself. Spark 2 and notably Spark 3 are really great takes on what fans love about 3D Sonic. Spark 3 even taking the storytelling and presentation to a whole new level. So if you're a fan of Sonic fan communities building their own complete new franchises, the Spark the Electric Jester series is a total must. Ninja Striker is a lightning-fast homing attack chaos simulator. You slash and dash your way through levels with satisfying time button presses, and it feels a lot like when you have a really good combo going in a Sonic game. It has a good mix of different characters and abilities, and a real fast pace that's super satisfying. And I also like that it has this cool Japanese style to it, and this really nice, charming, chunky pixel art. So check this one out if the homing combos are your favorite element of Sonic. Alright, and for the last game, it has to be Rollin Rascal. Sure, it hasn't released yet, but what has been shown has already been incredibly impressive. It comes from the developer of the fan-favorite Sonic fan game, Sonic GT, and it was successfully kickstarted earlier this year. And with that Kickstarter, they did a really smart thing, in that was release a demo that coincided with it on Steam to prove that it was the real deal. And it really just looks and feels like the most polished Sonic-style game out there, arguably outdoing even Sega themselves. So if you're a Sonic fan and you somehow still haven't heard of this yet, you gotta go over to Steam and check out the demo because it's really incredible. Alright everybody, thank you guys so much for watching my video about games that I think Sonic fans should take a look at and be maybe aware of if they aren't already. I know that I definitely didn't cover nearly everything, obviously, so make sure you let me know what I missed in the comments. I know I'm a total idiot. I can't believe that I left off X game, I know. But yeah, if you like this video, you definitely would like some of my other stuff. I know that I did a video that included a couple of Sonic fan games in it. I'll make sure to leave that at the little thing at the end of this one. You know, you can click on that to go to that. And yeah, I have a ton of stuff that I think you might like. If you liked this video, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y stuff, share the video around. It would really help me a ton. I also want to give a shout out to Pariah695 because they actually have a series of videos that are very similar to this one. They're a very good Sonic YouTuber. Make sure you go over there, check that out. If you're a Sonic fan, they have a lot more recommendations just like this one if you are a Sonic fan and you want to play some similar stuff. So go over there and say that I sent you. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching. What do I say now? Thank you.